Hey everybody, it's Trudy, One Grounded Angel, doing a weekly angel card reading video for you for the week starting Monday, October the 26th through to Sunday, the 1st of November 2020. I think it's still 2020. So it's been a long year. So I'm starting to shuffle the cards now for Monday. And we do have a Taurus full moon coming in towards the end of the week. Before I talk about what this card is, let me just explain that a bit. Taurus is a sign of money, work, security, excess. So some of those things could be coming up. The full moon is a time of release, or it can be a time of yielding, I guess, results. So if you've been working on patterns around money, around self-confidence, around lack mentality, anything like that, you could get some sort of benefit from that work. Equally, you could get some sort of something developing, maybe which you didn't expect in those areas. Can be a good thing, can be a challenging thing. Sometimes something has to be taken away from us when it's no longer working, including job situations that are not tenable, perhaps some sort of things we've been holding on to that are diminishing our self-confidence. Maybe sometimes we attach our worth or our value to things that actually aren't right for us, and which lead us to forget that actually our worth is innate. So that could happen, but these are just general themes. We can get changes coming up unexpectedly, or we can just get a bit of a prod to make changes in those areas. So excuse me, I just blew out a candle. I'm sort of surrounded by smoke at the moment. Probably should have opened a window before I started this video, but anyway, we will press on. Here's Monday's card. You are a powerful light worker. So if you're already on a spiritual path, you're already stepping into this kind of energy of developing your spiritual abilities, this is going to be pretty welcome. It's affirming that you are right to continue on this path, that yes, you are very powerful, and please don't let the doubts, even I have doubts, and I've been doing this work for a long time, I still get doubts going, that you made that up, this isn't real. So just come back to that inner knowledge, that knowing that this is actually right for you, and this is really what you're called to do. Your soul already knows that. It's just the doubting mind that can come up. Now, if that doesn't resonate for you, the message here would be just about trusting your intuition. I'm getting that some of you have got a decision to make at the moment. Perhaps you've been delaying it, and this card is reassuring you to make the decision that you know is already right for you, but that your fear is coming up to convince you should be doing something else. Always listen to your intuition. Now, there is a difference between your instincts and your intuition. I know they're often used interchangeably. Instincts are the things you tend to jump into automatically. And I don't know about you guys, but personally, I find the first response that comes up when something's going on is often not my intuition. It is the voice of fear going, quick, hurry up, get out of this situation, or hurry up and say yes, you'll miss out on something. Whereas in actual fact, my intuition, if I actually step back and think, my intuition will go, that's not the right opportunity for you, let it go. So it is a difficult thing to develop and to understand, but over time we can get better at it. And the most important thing is not to be pulled into anything out of a sense of urgency. Really step back, buy yourself time. I need to look at my diary, I need to think about that before I make a decision. And that's not the same as being stuck in this whole indecisive energy over time. It's more about coming back to that awareness of what is the right course of action for me. Listen to your intuition. If that's the only thing you take from this card, that would be enough. It's a perennial message that we need pretty much every day. So shuffling the cards now for Tuesday. Oh, the card has jumped out. All is well. Super reassuring. Not a lot I need to say to explain this message. Everything is going to work out. Now, the problem, I don't want to be a spoil sport here. The problem with this card is it doesn't necessarily say whether we need to make the changes. Now, sometimes when people know that things are going to work out, they assume that means they're going to work out for them. But sometimes we actually need to make them work out because we need to take the steps to make them happen. For example, if sometimes people will come to me for a reading, they've been single for a long time, they're looking for that soulmate relationship. Often what they want to hear is it's all going to work out fine. Prince or Princess Charming is going to knock on your door and it'll be fine. But in actual fact, what the reading normally tells them is you've got to work on this area of your life is blocked. This is where you're still attached to something that's getting in the way of you attracting that relationship. So often we do need to take steps to not make things happen, but as such, but more about removing the obstacles that are getting in the way. So although things are going to work out well, do not let that convince you to be passive. Sometimes we actually need to take the steps to make them, not to make them happen. I'm using that phrasing and I don't think it's particularly helpful, but to make sure that we are not blocking the good result from happening. And another way we could do that is if we don't believe that good things are possible for us. Now, I know you're probably watching this going, who would be so negative? But honestly, it comes up all the time. It was in my makeup too, because I grew up with, a pretty pessimistic sort of upbringing from parents who believed that it was better to set your sights low, hope for the best, but expect the worst as some sort of insurance policy. And many of us have that. So we need to make sure that we are not, deep down believing that things won't work out for us. Because if we have that belief, it's going to be really difficult to attract the good result. We'll block it energetically, essentially. Now, 2 cards have jumped out for Wednesday. I feel they're related, so let me talk through each and then I'll talk about the connection. First of all, we've got family harmony. I honestly can't remember the last time this card jumped out. It is about resolving family issues. I know, that's a tough one. And of course, this is something that many of us have evolved or come through in this lifetime to do, because of course our family, I say of course, perhaps it's not obvious to you, our family are people we've been with across many lifetimes in different roles, different sort of circumstances going on, and whatever's coming up for you now around your family has probably been there a long time. And maybe this is the time you work through it. You choose to actually work through it. It doesn't have to involve the other people. It could be something that you work through on your own and resolve within yourself. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm just noticing some construction noise across the road. Very odd sound. Now this card here, peer pressure. And this is more about friends, although family pressure could certainly play out with this here. It can also be societal pressures, for example, societal pressure to look a certain way or be a certain weight or have a certain life path. For example, the marriage, the white picket fence, etc. 2.4 kids. Just look at whether you're being coerced into a decision by people who may be well-meaning, but who don't actually know the right path for you. Make sure you don't let others overly influence your choices. You must choose what is right for you. So you can see how these two relate. They're about relationships and they're about the amount of attachments that might be playing out, whether unhealthy family dynamics are playing out in the way you show up in your life, whether that be in those relationships or whether that be in your other relationships or within your confidence levels that you have, and here whether you're being blocked from not blocked, but you're struggling to commit to what you want because of these pressures and other people's opinions that are showing up, or even just indirect pressure, the fear of doing something that others won't approve of. So it's really within you. It probably doesn't even involve those people. It's more your fear about what they would think. So I feel making decisions is coming up this week. Wow, I just bent this card back. Whoops. That does not look so good. The card is new beginnings and a fresh start. Maybe that's symbolic, actually. I think this is symbolic, the way things can be bent and imperfect but still be right. New beginnings and a fresh start, super encouraging, reminding us that we are evolved. Well, sorry, we are here to evolve. And the problem is that we are human and we want things to stay the same. So we have this dual kind of energy, the desire to change and grow, which is what our soul wants, and the human desire to keep things stagnant so that we know we're safe and we can control things, particularly if you are dealing with anxiety. So what we need to remember is that change is part of what we're here to adapt to and to learn from. We don't learn anything if things stay exactly the same. But it is hard when these new beginnings come through in a way that was not of your choosing. For example, something's been taken away from you, like a job or a housing situation and you're forced to make other arrangements even though you were kind of happy with those things. So we need to remember that if something's taken away, it's generally because something better is ahead. And that's not to take away from the goodness that you had in that situation, but maybe you had outgrown that, or maybe it was just time for that to come to an end. So giving you some hope of better, new opportunities ahead, and remembering that we're not defined by what has happened to us. So please don't try to limit your ideas about what is possible for you based on what has happened before. Now, Friday's card is family. Deja vu, anyone? So again, we're talking about family dynamics need resolving. Now, if you don't feel that you have an unhealthy family dynamic playing out for you, first of all, lucky you, because I've not met a single person who doesn't have that, but I know you're out there. So I envy you. What I would say is that you can just take this as a really beautiful message to connect with your loved ones, spend some quality time with them, plan some great activities together. If you're separated through COVID restrictions, maybe something digital that you could organise to spend some time together and really deepen those connections. So it doesn't have to be necessarily dealing with the nitty-gritty or confronting things that have happened that other people don't want to deal with. And of course you can't force other people to deal with things they don't want to deal with. It's probably something you should figure out how to make peace with within yourself, but making sure you're not, sometimes families have this kind of well-intended gaslighting thing going on where they try to suppress the person who is going, hang on, this isn't healthy. They try to, because they don't want to deal with it, so they try to force it under the rug. And maybe that's what's going on for you, and maybe that card is just validation that there is something there that needs to be addressed, and you're going to have to embark on your own healing journey to figure out a way through that. So here's intention for Saturday. What I love about this card is this angel is holding these two candles, but it reminds me of the people who work on the tarmacs or on the runways. Remember those? Remember when we used to fly? Who hold like the things to shepherd in the planes. I don't even know what they're called. Like the lightsabery things to navigate, help the pilot. You know what I'm talking about. That's what it reminds me of. The person guiding in the plane. And so I wonder if this is the angels giving you some direction here, navigating you into the place that you're meant to be. But reminding us that we need to, if we want to go somewhere, we have to know where we're going first of all. We have to set this intention, and then the angels will help us. So really think about, do you know where you're going? Do you know where you want to go? Because if you don't, that's a good place to start. Let's think about what I actually want to aim for, instead of just, you know, you don't just jump into a taxi and say, take me anywhere, or a cab or whatever you call it. You need to know, I want to go to this place. You might not end up there because maybe the universe doesn't want you to go there. Maybe the taxi analogy is not so helpful there. But it's not a good idea to just say to the universe, take me where you think I should go. We need to be the ones navigating and directing it, because we need to be able to take the action steps to get ourselves there and to commit to that. And sometimes people are sort of sitting around waiting to be taken somewhere instead of doing the direction. And if you are going somewhere that is not meant for you, don't worry, the universe will course correct you. It does that. And also, if you end up somewhere you didn't intend to go, maybe there's something you need to know from that experience, or something you need to learn there. Unfortunately, it's when we often learn the most when we end up somewhere we didn't intend to go. There was something there that we really needed to learn. Sunday, Sedna is the name of the goddess here. Infinite supply. I love the whales here. I feel like that's significant for someone, so just pointing that out in the background. This is all about lack, and I mentioned that in regards to the Taurus full moon, that idea of scarcity. If we don't believe there's enough out there for us, we'll start freaking out and reaching for things to keep ourselves safe. For example, if we have some scarcity ideas around money, there's not enough money out there, people like us will always be poor, we'll always have to struggle, we'll end up accepting really well-paying jobs that we don't actually enjoy. And that's not to say you can't have a well-paying job that you do enjoy. Of course that is possible, but when we are operating from a space of fear, we're less likely to trust that we can have everything we want, that we can have that safety. Instead, we'll just be going, I have to take what pays the most and not even think about anything else. So knowing that we have enough of what we need, the universe will always give us what we need. I sense perhaps this is related to the family messages that we've just been discussing. If there were family experiences or traumas in your upbringing around not having enough money, maybe not being good enough, maybe not having enough support. If you didn't receive the support that you needed, it's going to be hard for you to show up for new opportunities that challenge you, because you will feel like you're not good enough. Because when you asked for support when you were growing up, you didn't get it. That tends to have an impact on our sense of self-worth. So maybe that stuff's coming up for you here. But knowing that you do have enough and that you are enough is really the central message here. So family stuff coming up really strong. Not surprising, we're in Scorpio now, and that is that's an intense sign. I should know I'm a double Scorpio, and Scorpio is also about dealing with the past, because we need to deal with the past in order to transform. This is a very Scorpionic message here. We can't bring in the new if we haven't let go of the old and fully understood what we need to learn there. Let go of what is no longer serving us, and have the space to welcome in the new there, like this air traffic control person, whatever you call them. So yeah, dealing with family stuff, it totally ties into that for me. I mentioned also making decisions. So I think some of you are in that space of making big decisions. And remember that your intuition will always be your best guide for any decisions that you make. But as I say, it can be difficult to separate that from what is the fear response and what does everybody else think is right for me. It's not a good idea to go around canvassing other people's opinions. There's a wonderful Glennon Doyle quote, which I forget exactly, but where she says that she doesn't ask for advice from people who haven't been where she is going. So, because they don't know. So we need to really make sure we're not overly dependent on what other people think. So that's it for the week. Hope this has been informative for you. Don't forget, if this has stirred up some things for you, I am available for private sessions, which I do over Zoom. Sometimes people will ask me how that's even possible, but your energy is not confined geographically. I can tap into your energy from anywhere in the world, and the benefits that you get from a session, it makes no difference if you are sitting right in front of me or whether you're, on the other side of the world. So there's absolutely great benefits to be had from working with me on a personal level. And I do energy healing work, and I also do personal readings, which you might be you might benefit from if you are struggling to integrate these messages in your own life. And there's multiple meanings for these cards as well, I should mention. So sometimes I keep these very general, but if something's not resonating, it may be that there's another message here that you need to know. So best way to resolve that, listen to your intuition. So that's really all you need to know about that. If you are interested in knowing more about the work I do, my website is www.onegroundedangel.com. My Instagram account is @onegroundedangel, and I post each card each day there and give a little bit more detail. And it's wonderful to read the comments that people post as well, because sometimes the way that people notice that the message is showing up in their lives can be really helpful for other people to understand. So thanks everybody, have a great week, and don't forget to reach out to me if you need a little help, remembering that I can only give you so much information outside of a personal session. Take care and have a good week.